So God's perfect timing, he brought us together after I was already established. Some of you might be looking at the idea of this presentation thinking, it sounds like nursery rhymes and bullshit. Yep, it went right over your head. You ain't going to be successful. You want the secret weapons, but you don't want the user's manual. You want to go out there and blow your fucking heads off, messing around, trying to be Wyatt Earp, and don't want to understand how to do it safely. What keeps you in the game long enough to get what it is that you're seeking after? See, that third pig built a house of brick with a good, strong foundation. And I teach with that mindset. I want you to learn properly. Can I go out there and throw some Mickey Mouse shit together just to sell some coursework and make some fast money? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I also know, human nature, 99% of you are going to be in a rush. You're not going to follow rules. Even my own private mentorship students, I'll lay down some instructions on them. Very plain. And it's amazing how many of them ignore the plain text of do this, don't do that, or you're disqualified. And they don't listen. And they've been with me for years. They actually paid me. Is it me mentoring them poorly, or is it them themselves not following instructions? It's them themselves not following instructions. So if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to mentor, if I'm going to teach, I'm going to pour myself into it. And I'm going to do it exactly how it needs to be done. I'm not out here trying to get the, approval from any of you. I live this. And you're seeing students that are courage enough to go out there and make themselves known, and the fruits thereof. I could say, hey, look, all my students that are profitable, since you have respect for me, answer all those people out there that have things bad to say about me and what it is that you spent time and money learning. Go out there and show them what for. I'm not a weak little minded bitch. I don't need that. And they don't need to do it. But some people are just built differently. They just want to go out and do it. Because, like me when I was younger, I have a chip on my shoulder. I need to prove self-worth. Because you don't know what it feels like to be a child that your own parents don't want nothing to do with. And one of them had to threaten the other one's life just to make sure that you were born. That's some heavy shit when you put it on you. So I spent my life building something in me to make my parents understand that that shit didn't stop me. I didn't grow from the same vine they did. I cut myself off. I planted myself here. And all of you are my fruit. I'm living for all of you. What am I getting paid right now? There's dozens of people out there that I'm doing right now that you're listening to. And they're going to put it on their YouTube channel and they're going to monetize it. And folks, if you're doing that, I don't care. Pay your bills. I don't care. But I'm not monetizing it. I could. These are all things I could be putting on my YouTube channel. And yes, I might drop some F words once in a while, but as long as it's not happening in the first 30 seconds, they won't demonetize it. I do this for a reason. I want you to understand that I'm investing my time. I'm investing the wisdom that I gained over hardships in the hopes that you'll appreciate the fact that I could be doing something else on my fucking Saturday mornings. I could be doing something else besides this, where I'm not getting paid to do this. Not getting chump change from YouTube, $25,000, $28,000 a month. You already saw I can do that in a week. Real money. Some of you stand in your own way. And you don't understand when I'm trying to ask you to take stock in yourself. What is it you're doing wrong? That's an uncomfortable thing to pursue and try to investigate. What is it you're doing incorrectly? All of my personal students that are profitable, they have done that. And they don't hide from it. Ask any of them that are making fucking real money. Hey, what did you struggle with most? What do you struggle with still today? What was your greatest learning experience? What are your weaknesses? They're easily answering you what they are. They're not like these fucking misfits online, hiding like they don't have any weaknesses at all. Only showing you wins, only showing you the sweet stories, showing you shit that mentorships and coursework sells will yield them in terms of profit. The real people, the ones that have really gone through this process correctly, they didn't lose sight of what makes them go off the rails. And sometimes they may still wrestle with it. That's the reality of trading. Think about it. If you strung all together all these Twitter spaces I've done since I started doing them, and let's just say I was writing a book, and it was everything I said in these Twitter spaces, but composed inside of a textbook. What not to do as a trader and how to think correctly. That's a brilliant title. Nobody's buying that fucking book. Nobody's buying that book. Not one person's going to buy that book. How to learn to trade with a demo account. Over 12 months. Nobody's buying that fucking course. Nobody's buying that book. Nobody's watching that playlist. But that's the real shit. Everybody that sits in and listens to these Twitter spaces, you have exactly what's required because you want to know how to think. You want to know what's going to derail you. You want to be counseled. You want to be encouraged. I'm not showing you a chart. We're not even talking about the open, high, low, and close. We're not referring to any specific setup here. We're talking about what's going to be the definitive ground, bottom of the road. This is down to brass tacks, down to the chrome. What's the success or failure in you? You. It's always you. And some of you aren't equipped to accept that fact. You think it's going to be convenient for me to blame ICT because he doesn't trade with live funds. Whoop, something's wrong with that fucking excuse now, isn't it? It's going to be real convenient to be able to blame this market today. Well, I told you don't trade this day. Oops. It's going to be real convenient for some of you to say, yeah, I tried to trade that ICT bullshit. I watched a couple videos. To be honest, it was probably 3 of them. Never took any notes, but this guy talks too much. He's full of shit, so that's the reason why it don't work. Well, that's you, buddy. Half-ass Alan ain't going to make it in here. Half-ass Alan is not going to make it in this industry. You have to pour yourself into it. And you have to have a greater purpose in mind that is not limited to just you. When you're accountable to more than just you, you're going to trade differently. You're going to think about that risk differently. You're not going to say, fuck it, man. It's 15 contracts if I blow the account. It's just a reset. Shit, it's easy. They're doing discounts now. Let's just go at it. What's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is you're creating this mindset that, well, I don't have to be all that diligent about what it is I'm doing. I can roll the dice like I'm at the casino. And if I get lucky and have a lottery win, look how cool it's going to be if I show my payout on this big exorbitant amount of money that wasn't acquired by skill. Listen, folks, people win the lottery all the time. There was no mental acrobats that require of them to be able to do that. They foolishly spent their fucking money on this dumb shit, and the chances of that happening were so next to nothing, but yet it happened for them. And I knew a person. His name's Butch. Stop it. Piper's going after me. Get off me, girl. Go on now, stop. It's one of these high dollar slips. I don't want them all tore up. Hear that? Materialism. Stop it, girl. This guy was a block layer, laid brick. And he probably had about 3 teeth in his whole head. Bald. Drove around with a trash bag duct taped over his passenger side window for years. Never replaced it. Had a young girl working at a laundromat in Middle River. A little blonde haired girl. She was the attendant. And obviously he's too old for her, and he's probably dirty old man mentality. He would go in there and play on their little slot machines, and illegally they would pay out, if you won. That happens a lot in the bars and stuff around here still today. But they got to trust the clientele that's being paid out. And he was one that they could trust that if he did it, he'd get paid out. You're not making much. In fact, he's probably spending more money than he was actually getting out doing it. Long story short, he went up and said, I want to get a scratch off. And the girl that he had the fancy for said, no, Butch. The big gain tonight is $30 million. And took his dollar bill. Instead of buying the scratch off, this young lady processed the fucking winning ticket. And he cussed her. And the very next day, he's on the shoulders of Max Waite, which was his boss, carried around on the news. He's $30 million rich. What the fuck? Exactly. And the first thing he went out and did was bought himself a Ford Mustang, a green, ugly ass fucking convertible Mustang with a tan top. How fucking stupid. That's new money for you though, folks. Oh shit, I just made $30 million on a lottery win. Let me go out to the dealership, tell them here's the proof I won, because they'll do that. And they gave him the shittiest looking fucking Mustang I've ever seen in my life, and everybody in the neighborhood laughed at him. So what'd he do? He went out and got himself a Corvette convertible. Red. I was envious as shit. That was pretty. That was pretty. That red would look good, and I don't like red. Still, everybody complained and said, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? You just made $30 million. You're buying that? Just like some of y'all. You made all this money selling mentorship, ICT, and you got these little ass Chevy Corvettes. Where's your big dollar cars? Well, if you know anything about Maryland, the roads around here, you just can't drive these really, really low profile cars without tearing them up. And Chevys, their Corvette, that's my dream car. I was wanting that all my life. And I've been a Corvette man all my life. So he trades his Corvette in and gets himself an orange burst Lamborghini. Ooh, pretty. Pretty. Pretty fucking wide too, and got it stuck inside the Taco Bell drive-thru. Tore up the fucking rims, had to get pulled out by a wrecker. How about that? New money. New money. You think that's stupid? He traded in once he got his rims fixed. Got a Ferrari. And didn't get the vibe that he was hoping for it. Traded the Ferrari in for the same fucking Lamborghini that he gave up. That he replaced the rims for. Now, what is that? That's Little Pig #1. Straw house. Chasing shit that means nothing. You know what he ended up doing? Still going in that laundromat. I think he got $13.5 million because he did the cash option. I would have done the annuity. And still bet on that fucking little poker machine that wasn't going to pay him anything. What did he really want? He wanted that girl. And you know what? He got her. Took her to Atlantic City. They stayed up there a couple times. And not to be crude, but he hit it and quit it. I've seen her in recent years. She's a mess. And he's been to Atlantic City. He's been to the local casinos here. And you're probably saying, what the hell does this got to do with anything? This is what some of you are thinking like. And if you get these big payouts, you're going to act just like this guy. He spent and wasted millions of dollars in casinos trying to get more. You're not satisfied with $13.5 million? $13.5 million, friends. Listen, you're set for life. You're done. You're done. If you manage it appropriately, your family can live off of that once you're gone. I'm not aware where he's at today, because we're talking about something about 10, 12 years ago. Actually, you know what? My son Caleb is... No, we're talking about something 24 years ago. Man, good grief, time really flew. I don't know where he's at today. I don't know if he has any money left or not, but he's chasing that moment, that feel-good moment. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Thought I lost track, didn't he? No. When you have a win, when you have these success stories, they're fleeting moments. They only last momentarily, and they're gone. They're gone. And you have to go out and try to get something else, something new, some new candy to share with your friends. But you got to keep the bigger piece for yourself, because greed. But you want everybody in the neighborhood to say, wow, look at Tommy's bike. Shit. I wish I had a bike like that. Wow, look at him, man. He's dressed out. Look at his drip. Shit. His kicks are awesome. I'm going to get a pair of them. I don't care what I got to sell on Hawk. I'm going to get that. That watch. Look at that watch. Wow, he spent that much. Man, if I had a watch like that, people would really respect me. Let me tell you something, folks. I have watches that cost more than anybody that's an influencer in YouTube finance for forex or futures. I have watches that cost more than their fucking houses, okay? I don't need to show you that. Who gives a shit about that? They're not good investments. When the shit goes upside down, that watch is going to do nothing for me. Nothing. My Corvettes aren't going to do shit for me. The money in the bank ain't going to do nothing for me. Your greatest lessons are going to be through pain. For the atheists in the crowd. If God was real, why does he allow suffering? Because we are stubborn. And we don't want to listen unless it's hurting. You know you shouldn't smoke. You know you shouldn't eat fast food. You shouldn't be eating McDonald's horse shit. Ain't even food. And you know it ain't good for you. You sit down in front of a physician, they'll tell you shouldn't eat that stuff. It's bad for you. Yeah, I know, doc, but in moderation. Moderation to you is every fucking other day. Now, all of a sudden, fast forward, you got bad health. You're overweight, cholesterol off the charts, blood clots, everything. You got everything wrong with you. Now, all of a sudden, because you got chest pains, now because you can't walk across the floor a little bit before you're winded, now you want to listen to the doctor's advice. Good doctor, please give me the good news. Give me some good news. I need to feel good. If you listen to that physician and somehow turn your health around, what are you going to remember most? You stuffing your face with that poison, calling it food and convenience? Or are you going to remember, this doctor saved my life and caused me to make a change in my lifestyle?